Greetings and salutations. We are back with another episode of a series that I am calling Understanding Relationships. And I'm just walking you all through my perspective and my newfound understanding of what I have learned on my walk. And if you haven't seen the previous videos, go back and watch. I talk about vision and I talk about feelings and why they're so important to just feel them and not act on them. And now today's episode, I want to talk to you about something that I believe is vital and very important prior to getting into a relationship and also maintaining while you are in a relationship. And again, when I say relationship, I am speaking of any and all kinds of relationships, whether it is romantic, whether it is a business work relationship, parent-child relationship, no matter what the dynamic of the relationship is. What I want to speak about today is one of the things that I feel like is vital and very important, and it's the work that you put in, the work that you put in prior to the relationship, and the work that you continually put in the relationship. And the work that I'm referring to is the self work, the work you do on yourself. Clearly, everyone needs to do some working on some things as it pertains to themselves in certain areas. And speaking of certain areas, the title of this message is called Work Zone. And when you think about a work zone, what do you think about? Like if you're driving down the highway and you are about to come into a work zone, a few things come to mind, right? First, there is the sign that you are about to enter into a work zone, right? The sign that lets people know, hey, look, it's about to be some changes and some construction going on here, right? Another thing about the work zone is the work zone is a set appointed time and space, right? You have a sign that says work zone begins here, and then when you get ready to come out of the work zone, you see another sign that says end of the work zone, right? And what else do you think about when you think work zone? You think of like the cones, the barriers. Those barrier cones are indicators to let you know what to steer clear of while you are in the work zone, and they are also indicators to let you know that you are still in the work zone, right? So now let's talk about some of the purposes of a work zone. Like, so we'll correlate this with real life. Like when you think about working on yourself, you need a work zone. You need a set appointed time, place, and space to do the work on yourself, right? And when you think about some of the aspects of the work zone, right? One of the first things that you notice about a work zone is, like if we're speaking of highway, is reduced speed. It's time to slow down, right? It's time to pull back a little bit, right? Because you are about to enter into a space that requires strategic thought and effort, right? Because once you do make those improvements, right, what ultimately can end up happening is once the work zone is completed, now it improves your travel ability, your travel time. Now things can flow freely. And one of the other aspects of the work zone is when the work zone is completed, what it ultimately can do is it can increase productivity, right? So let's think about what needs to happen in the work, or let's think about what a work zone consists of, right? The work zone is a place where you are either constructing something, like you are building something new, you are maintaining something old or current, or you are fixing or repairing something that's broken, right? So I'm gonna say that again. You're either constructing or building something new, you are maintaining something old, or you are fixing or repairing something that's broken. So as like with us, when we run into those seasons of life that we just realize we just can't get a win. We just cannot seem to be moving forward. We find ourselves in a place that seems to be stagnant, low productivity, low energy. Your want to just kind of decreases. It's a whole lot less want to. You don't want to get up. You don't want to go to work. Even when you think about your relationship, you don't even want to be in it no more. You don't want to do it no more. So when you get to that place, that is the indicator that it's time for you to create a work zone. It is time for you to create a time period and a place, a designated time, season, place for you to either build something new, build a version of you that never existed before, or it's time to do a little bit of maintenance. Hey, you know what? I got some things I need to work on that I need to improve, or it's time to repair some stuff that's broken. Like, you know what? This just, I need this, but I haven't done it. I haven't. So it's time to repair and fix some things that's broken. So very important, very vital to doing that, going into a relationship, because the purpose of the work zone prior to going into the relationship is so that you know that you are bringing to the relationship the best version of yourself. You don't want to bring the half you, the unfinished version of you, the slacking and lacking version of you, especially if you think there's nothing wrong with you. Then it's a bigger problem. So so we have to do a realistic self-evaluation so we can identify and determine what areas we need to work on. And I would argue also that sometimes the people in our lives who have a vantage point of us that we don't have of ourselves, let's be more mindful and let's be more open to consider and listen to what they have to say of areas of potential improvement on us. Let's not be so defensive and offended by someone that loves us trying to point out or highlight things about us that could use some work or some repair or some things that need to be tossed out so that some new things can be built in its place. So and one of the things about the work zone too is you customize it. You customize it to fit the dynamic of which you're going into, whether it's just for improvement of yourself, but as it pertains to a relationship, you customize the work on yourself that you are doing, the necessary improvements and repairing, because you're trying to be the best version of yourself and you want to customize it for the relationship that you are about to enter into. Vice versa, please. I hope you find somebody that understands this. Hopefully y'all can sit down together and listen to this and understand that this goes both ways. Both parties need a work zone, a designated place and space to fix and work on things for themselves so they can ultimately be the best version of themselves for each other in the relationship. And then you couple that with a vision, hey, that relationship shall flourish. It's impossible not to. What else do I want to go into? What do you do in the work zone? Let's talk about that. What does one do inside of the work zone? In this work zone, this is the place where counseling or therapy happens, right? In the work zone, this is where you dive deeper into your reading and studying of the Word of God. In the work zone, this is the place where you find books to read that are conducive to what you are trying to cultivate out of yourself. Leadership books, communication books, whatever your goal is for the person that you are trying to become, that is the information that you seek after. because it will be conducive to what you are actually trying to accomplish while you are in your work zone. Right. So another aspect of work zone. Other things that are created in the work zone. This is the place where, as you start making your way through the work zone, this is the place where you now discover that you create boundaries, right, for yourself, for the person that you are about to get in relationship with. This is where you develop discipline, right? This is where you develop your self-confidence, right? This is where you just cultivate becoming the best version of yourself. And I wanted to do this in the beginning, but I forgot. But I want to define what a work zone is. I know we just kind of went right into examples and things that you see in a work zone, but I want to give you a definition of what a work zone is, right? So a work zone is a temporary area where construction or maintenance is happening, and then it's marked by signs and barriers, right? So a temporary place or area where construction or maintenance is happening, right? This is basically, so the correlation, a temporary space, you pull back, you have a designated season, and if you are already in a relationship, right? So prior to a relationship, this is the part where you're not out here seeking, you're not out here looking, you're not out here chasing relationships. You are working on yourself. You are in a work zone. I would argue that most of the time because I truly believe that we were created to, God is a advocate for community. He even says in his word that it is not good for man to be alone. So we were created ultimately to need community, to need relationship, right? Even the Bible says, do not forsake the gathering of the saints. Like everything that the Lord talks about, he says is for as much as possible, just have peace and harmony amongst your brethren, right? Like everything that the Lord talks about is related to relationship, your relationships, having relationships of all kinds, your dealings with other people. Basically, that's what ultimately a relationship is. It is an environment where you are dealing with other people, and the level or the title of what kind of relationship that you call it. Oh, this is my work relationship. These are the people I work with. I have a work relationship with them. So most of the dynamic of that relationship between you and that co-worker are going to be generally centered around things of work. And even in that relationship, when we go back talking about vision, y'all have to have a vision, or y'all both come into agreement with the vision of the company, so that y'all can work together to accomplish the goal or the vision of the company. And you each have your role and part to play in the relationship that you have as it pertains to the vision that you are both trying to reach for the sake of the company, right? So you see how the vision, you see how relationships work, and even with going back to your feelings, like sometimes we get our feelings hurt by co-workers, right? And then we act on those feelings, and that's how we end up losing our job and things of that nature. So all of these things, I feel like, just from the past 3 videos, do work in tandem with each other. And again, this is my newfound understanding. Some of this is newfound understanding of the importance of knowing and having and developing these things before and during relationships, because they are vital to the success and the maintenance of a relationship. We all need time to ourselves. And if you are already in the relationship, you still need time to yourself for your work zone. Hey, I need to pull back a little bit. Hey, look, I'm on this, between this time and that time, this is the time that I'm going to pull away and I'm going to go consecrate. I'm going to go read a little bit. I'm going to go work out and work on myself. I'm going to, go hit the gym. I'm going to start studying the word between the hours of this and that. And so you pull away from the person, you pull away from the family. If you have a family, you pull away from your relationship. If you know what I'm saying, and pull away does not mean walk away. Pull away means a designated, set apart time where it's just you. So if you are at home and you have a family, and then you say between the hours of 6 and 7 is the time that you pull away to go do something, then you separate yourself from the family. You go into another room or to another place, or this is where you go head off to the gym, or this is where you go head to the library, but this is the designated time and place, the time and space that you pull away to go into your work zone to start doing the work of whatever it is that you are trying to cultivate, so that you can bring back to the relationship the version of you that emerges out of the construction. And again, we said the construction is the building up. So you want to take this work zone space so you can go build a new version of yourself for the relationship, or so you can do a little bit of touch-up maintenance on the current you that's already in the relationship. It ain't nothing wrong. I could just do a little bit better in certain areas, right? Or you can fix something that is broken within you. I have not healed from that hurt, so let me go and heal. Let me go to the therapy. Let me go do the whatever, because I need this fixed. I need this healed, so that I can come out of this work zone a better version of myself for the relationship, right? So so this is my understanding. This is why I feel like work zones are very, very vital and important prior to relationships and during relationships. And I truly believe that if you don't take the time to go into a work zone, create a work zone, have a designated place, time, and space, a season, if you will, of self-improvement to work on yourself. If you think that you're just fine, you are never the problem. It's always them. You are fine the way that you are. They have to accept me as I am. You go into a relationship and things start going wrong, and you say, you knew I was like this when you met me. Those are recipes for disaster. The relationship will inevitably fail, because everyone needs work. Everyone needs a work zone. Everyone needs a time, season, place, space to self-improve, to build something new, to maintain something old, and to fix something that is broken, because we are not perfect. And we have to learn how to allow ourselves to be to not be offended when someone, and I say this, like someone that loves us, someone that actually cares about us, someone that is for our best interest, when that person tries to highlight or point out something that they can see from their vantage point, which could be a potential flaw in our character, something that they can see that is still, that we are still keeping down in, bottled up. They can, like the people close to us that love us, that can see the aspect of us that we can't, that we're trying to hide, that we can't. When they start pointing some of those things out, this is not the time to be offended and get defensive. This is the time to listen, to hear, to understand, so that you can take notes of what is being said instead of being hurt by it. Take notes of it. So when you do go into your work zone, you actually know what the work zone is for. There is nothing worse than seeing a work zone, right? and nothing is going on in there. You drive past a work zone, the lane is still closed, and nobody's at work, right? You're like, what was the point of this work zone? They ain't doing nothing. And again, work zones are time frames. This work zone should not last a whole year. You still working on you? Are you really doing any real work? You still haven't finished working on you. You are still saying, I'm working on myself. Listen, I understand that we are not perfect and we will all continuously need work, but you should not live in the work zone. You should not use the work zone as a justification for your BS. Your work zone is not it's like God's grace. Do not use the grace of God to justify your foolishness. Don't use don't use working on yourself. Don't use being in a work zone as your justification to keep doing what you're doing, because you really don't think you need to change. Or you really know you need to change, but the change that you need to make is one that you really don't want to do. And you're stalling, trying to get someone else to forget about the work that you say that you know that you need, and you're not getting it. Don't be that person. Like, truly understand, we all need work. We all need to create a work zone. We all need a place, a time, a season, so that we can make improvements, right? So that we can bring the best version of ourselves to any situation. If we stay single, we just want to be able to walk in the best version of ourselves as a single person. And if we want a relationship, we want to be able to bring the best version of ourselves into a relationship, right? And so even before relationships and during relationships, there will always be a continual need to have or create a work zone, a temporary place to go do some construction, some improvements, some maintenance, and some repair. So, I'm going to end on that note today on this video. I hope that this information, for those of you who are actually taking the time to watch it, I hope this information is helpful. I hope it is, if you have applied any of it, I hope that I pray that it has blessed you. I'm pretty confident that if you have applied it, I do believe that it's working for you. So I believe God for your relationship. I believe that this information that I am sharing with you, if applied, I truly believe that it will create an improved version of yourself, which will ultimately improve the dynamic of your relationship. I truly believe that, and if it has done something, anything that I've already shared, if you've tried it or applied it, and it has worked for you, please share it in the comments. Just share the world with your testimony on something that you didn't know that you needed to know, and then you found it out and you applied it and it worked. Let the world know that certain views and values and principles and applications of wisdom and things of that nature, that they actually do work when they are applied. Because sometimes we are so fearful of thinking that, oh, that only worked for them, or it's different now, that worked for you and you don't understand my situation. And we think that because of the specificity of the uniqueness of our individual lives and selves and relationships, that we think certain things won't work and won't apply for us or our situation. However, that same God that did it for them, that did it for one, that same God will do it for you. All you have to do is believe that the information, and again, try it. Test it. The Bible said, prove me. Try it out. And I guarantee you, it will work. I do believe that. So that's all for today. I thank you all. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment if there's something specific you want to know about, hear about relationships. I do go back and I read comments. In the meantime, thank you for just participating in this series. We got a few more subjects and topics that we're going to talk about moving forward, and I hope that you are finding this information very insightful, informative, and I hope that it is blessing your life. So until then, thank you all. Be blessed.